It's the first week of 2024 and several artists hopped online to update their fans about new music and some outright announced new projects. So we're going to break down several of those announcements here today. What's up, y'all? I'm Devon here again for Obligatory. We bring you a weekly music news roundup on this channel every Friday. Today is January 5th, 2024. Happy New Year to y'all. We've been on a bit of a hiatus of late, but we're back for 2024. So let's go ahead and get started with Jpegmafia, who has been teasing a new album since late 2022. So swarms of fans were coming to their Twitter and Reddit enclaves to sort of freak out about whether or not they were actually going to get a Jpegmafia album to end the year. Now, why were they under the impression that he was going to drop a new album soon? Probably because of this tweet. This tweet. So pretty much all year, JPEG's been consistent about wanting to release 3 projects in 2023, and so far now we know 2 of those were 1, the Danny Brown project Scaring the Hoes, and 2 was a reissuing of an old project he had done in 2013, a bit of a fan favorite from when he was working under a different stage name titled The Ghost Pop Tape, and so now that's up on streaming services. So you know kind of how this goes, right? When an artist announces an album is dropping on a specific date or maybe during a specific time frame, and we're getting really close to that whenever they said it would come, and it hasn't come. They haven't dropped a single, they haven't posted on social media, no videos, no nothing. Most fans are like, all right, well, it's probably not happening. But there's always that small section of fans that want it to happen, right? And they're doing the mental gymnastics to try to figure out how it's going to happen. Well, those people were actually almost right this time. So Peggy shared a little note to social media that was sort of an apology to fans who were expecting that album to come out by the end of the year, but explained that for fear of rushing to the finish line on it, he's decided to delay the project a little bit longer. But the thing was, he was very close to releasing it on January 1st as sort of a surprise release. So that kind of makes it sound like it's not imminent, right? It's not getting pushed back a week or 2 weeks. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but it sounds like he's going to take more time to work on it, as in it's coming soon, but maybe not this month. I'm not sure about that. This week, we also got some pretty good surprising news about the band The Internet. Sid, Steve Lacy, Matt Martians, and the gang are back as fuck, and it seems like it's a contract year for the band. So on Tuesday this week, the Instagram for the band shared some photos of them in the studio, presumably working on their next album. And we could say with some level of confidence that there is a next album, given that Sid confirmed that they have one more album left on their recording contract with Columbia Records. It does seem like they have some interest in going a more independent route with their band once they finish up this particular album. And as a group, they've been quiet, but as individuals, they've done nothing but spread wings and fly higher than ever before. And I kind of wonder if that is going to change anything about what they typically do when they work together. You know, they usually like to drop in that summer to fall season with a very laid back and groovy set of songs. Most recently on Hive Mind, they did go featureless, and so I wonder if that's a trend that will stay for this project. And baby Keem, the Prince of PG Lang, as I like to call him, you know him as Kendrick's cousin, is teasing new music, potentially a new album, potentially titled Child with Wolves. Now, he's someone who's also been pretty quiet as of late. Recently, he did drop a short film for The Melodic Blue, which you can watch on Prime Video. It does include a few new, unreleased songs, one of which features James Blake. You might have seen recently he dropped a song with Fred again, which also got a Nia Archives remix. And I have no idea if that's going to have any bearing on the sound that he's going with and moving towards for this new project. And then Playboi Carti has been coming into 2024 hot, teasing new songs, dropping music videos, and posting snippets. And I don't know, we seem like we're heading towards album territory. This is a guy we really have to see it to believe it, but it kind of feels like we're getting there. But everything that he's dropped so far has been interesting. I don't know if he's surveying fan responses or if he's actually putting out material that's supposed to be on the album, but a lot of it feels like a palate cleanser for a lot of fans as he's trying new vocal inflections, switching up song styles a little bit here. A lot of this stuff feels like it's following up on what we heard him do on his feature in the Travis Scott album. DJ Academics reported earlier that the album was slated for a January release. We got most of the rest of the month to go, so we'll see. Next up, Skepta was another artist coming with good news for fans to start the year, announcing that his sixth studio album, Knife and Fork, is coming soon with a single dropping this month. If I'm not mistaken, in the Instagram post that he shared this in, there is a snippet of the single with a music video here. Again, we don't have a release date for the album yet, but I don't know, it sounds like it's coming in the first quarter of the year. And then on to another UK musician in Burial, who, to be honest, I haven't listened to a lot, but I know fans are definitely really interested in this announcement that just came along. He has a partnership now, or is signed to XL Recordings, which is a pretty big independent label that currently houses some acts like Arca and Bad Bad Not Good and King Cruel and so many more now and in the past. Now, the announcement came via XL's socials, and I'm not gonna lie, they kind of went crazy with this post. What we're looking at here is the Burial logo over the XL and a short bit of breakbeat here that you can hear that maybe we'll hear again later. So here's the thing, if you're a Burial fan that I know you must be wondering with this announcement is, are we finally getting an album? Because this man, since 2006 when he dropped his self-titled debut, and in 2007 when he followed it up with Untrue, both of which super high-level fan favorite albums, right? He's done nothing but drop EP after EP after 2-pack after EP after 2-pack, all of which his fans have definitely enjoyed, but it's never more than 1 or 2 or 3 in a year, and I just know fans have been dying to get that full-fledged solo studio album someday. And so you kind of got to wonder, for a guy who's been dropping for such a long time independently, why now he is deciding to sign with a significant indie label. At least a reason for a good fan of his to kind of hope that maybe he's dropping an album, maybe even this year. As for some of the other announcements we've seen fly by this week, the XX is back, and that's a bit of a blast from the past here, but they are confirmed to be working on a new album. Lucky seems to be closing the Sex Money Drugs era with a new video release for 2021 vibes, and he's now teasing, well, he really has been for a while, teasing this new album, Gemini, which we could probably expect to drop at some point this year. Future cleared off his IG. If you care, sometimes that means something. Metro Boomin also announced via Twitter, responding to a fan, that he's hoping to drop at least 3 albums this year, and he likes to do big, grandiose projects, and I don't know how that's going to work, but Lil Nas X is also another person who's been popping back up online, teasing new music, teasing a new single, potentially a new album, a new era for him, and is also dropping a HBO-produced documentary titled Long Live Montero. So this next story is one that is honestly a bit near and dear to my heart, and I kind of wonder if for any of y'all out there you feel the same. DatPiff, we have known for a while, has been porting over its library to archive.org so that it could be preserved. 350,000 projects and mixtapes are a part of that process, and it seems like they are now complete. So DatPiff, if for some reason you don't already know, and it's going to feel weird to explain this like it's history, but I know some of y'all were not there. To me, was like a prototypical streaming service that really predated like the idea of SoundCloud, somewhere where you could go and stream and download songs and tapes kind of at an instant. And when you really think about it, I think it predates just the entire streaming model and era that we live in music right now. Before we had the illusion of all music being basically free, or at least just costing the price of one monthly subscription, a lot of the biggest names in hip-hop were routinely dropping free albums in the form of these mixtapes, mainly on sites like DatPiff. Now, mind you, album sales and the music business in general was in a pretty weird place in 08, 09, 10, 11, 12, when we didn't quite have Spotify, or at least at the scale it was yet. We were still very much in the MP3 iTunes streaming era. But still, people were not buying albums like back in the day when people used to sell literal millions of copies of albums. And so this kind of gave a market to DatPiff and these mixtapes that were, like I said, ranging from loose tracks and songs and kind of loose ideas to a full-fledged solo album that was just free. Names like Lil Wayne, J. Cole, Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, Meek Mill, all did this. Some people really came up through this circuit. I think of names like A$AP Rocky, Big Crit, Chance the Rapper, Freddie Gibbs, and so many more people like really cut their teeth in this era of music. And this really gave a lot of the market to DatPiff, where a lot of the biggest projects of the year were coming out for free on this platform. Now, I would be doing an injustice if I didn't mention at least that mixtapes have taken on various different meanings in different eras of hip-hop. And prior to this, there was an entirely different thesis, an idea and definition of what rappers were doing on these mixtapes, how they were distributing these tapes. But that's kind of like a whole other video that I would have to make to explain all that. But looking back now, I mean, DatPiff was really culturally a very important thing for music to now, but really especially during that time. Some of the really important music that was on there is never really going to make it to streaming. I think of Action Bronson's Blue Chips Volume 2 is just entirely made up of different really popular samples and things that would just never get cleared or never make money for his record label at this point on streamings. Or I think of Wiz Khalifa and Kush and Orange Juice or Joey Badass's 1999, where most of the project is the same, but maybe they had to cut out a song, or maybe they had to re-record a song with a different sample that wasn't originally on there because of clearance issues and what have you. So when the DatPiff servers had gone dark in April of last year, it was the kind of thing that you saw coming, but it still kind of hits you in the feels because, again, there's a lot of material on there that can't be found in its original form elsewhere. And so it's important to have that stuff preserved and online for us to access all the time, forever. So that concludes the list of stories I have for the week. As we do to close this show every time, I have a list of albums coming soon for you. These are not maybes and ifs. These have release dates and are confirmed to be coming out soon. Each week, we're already looking at a couple bangers in Kali Uchis and Boldy James and Nicholas Craven albums. The following week, we have Glass Beach, Green Day, Slater Kinney, Pax. And so already we have a pretty good slate of albums coming on the docket for the next couple months. And that doesn't even include some of the stuff we mentioned today that very likely could be coming out in the next month, 2 months, 3 months or so. We're going to be dropping another one of these next week. We also have a video coming soon about the most anticipated albums of 2024. So thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. If you want to help us one other way, clicking the like button is really the major way to help us out. And I will be back here again with another one of these news videos next Friday. And so I will just see y'all then. Appreciate y'all watching. Glad to be back. Holla at your boy. Obligatory. We love you. Peace.